Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Taylor, and I'd like to welcome you to our podcast, which is The Language of Life. We're excited today. We have a special guest with us today. I know that you all are going to be definitely encouraged and inspired as we move forward with what we're going to talk about today. The Language of Life podcast is a podcast that inspires, that informs, that encourages, that gives direction, and celebrates the success of other people. One of my objectives as a visionary is to utilize peripheral vision. And peripheral vision and how I walk in that is that I celebrate people that are around me. I build relationships and networks that expand locally and hopefully eventually internationally, to where people can find out so much information about other people and what other people are doing. And so today we're going to start with that. I want to introduce to you all Miss Jamila, I think I pronounced that right, Jenkins. And I just want to introduce you to her. She's a project manager at Cushman & Wakefield. She also does a lot of other things. She's a very skilled woman, a Black African-American woman, very successful, focused. I had the privilege of meeting her in the workplace. And such a delightful young lady, focused and about business, but at the same time, she's a woman of integrity. And I'm excited about her. She's a Howard graduate. HU, you know. Howard graduates out there that are listening today. I want you to see your sister in action today. She's going to share with you all as we talk and as we have questions about, just some of the things she's doing and how she has gotten started. I want to say this, that she will share with you all where you can go into the website where you can go and actually get place an order for some of her good food that she bakes, a bakery, whatever it is. She'll share that with you, all that. I don't want to mess that up, but I'll let her tell you. But I want to introduce to some, present to others, Miss Jamila Jenkins and what she does. And so today I just want to start, Jamila, welcome to the podcast of language and language of life. Podcast Language of Life. Welcome to this show today as we are here, and we're excited that you are here with us. And I want to ask you a couple of questions about how you got started. Your story inspired me. I told my wife about you, and we're fans of yours. If you don't know that, we're fans of yours and your food, and you do such a great job. But I want to celebrate you today and what you're doing. I just want you to share a little bit with us and how you got started, who inspired you in business and what you do, and even with your business that you have. Who was your greatest person? Who was the person that had the greatest influence on your life and which inspired you to do what you do today?
Okay, so that's a very loaded question. But I'll start off with the introduction of myself. Again, as you mentioned, so Jamila Jenkins. I am a project manager at Cushman & Wakefield, but also business owner of Donnafayesbakery, located in Washington, D.C. This business, honestly, was my mom's business growing up. She unfortunately passed away in 2010 from a heart attack, but she had started a business baking butter cookies, the Chicago-style cafeteria butter cookie. A much larger cookie, but she actually baked it a little bit smaller and then sold them by the dozen. So everybody loved this cookie. They raved about them. Everybody couldn't stop talking about them. She got into trade shows for holidays. She would make cookie tins of all these butter cookies. I was a little chef. I can't say that perfectly. Too many S's and C's. But I was the one in the kitchen helping her bake the dough, from putting it on a tray to cool the cookies to having the finger there so she could wrap her ribbon around the cookie tin. So I kind of learned the business aspect, or this aspiration that she had for baking, fairly young, and just decided to keep it up. I knew it was something that she wanted to make a lot larger than what she had the time to do. So I knew I was probably the only one in the family who said, hey, I can continue the business. I'll keep that drive going. My mom had drive. So I really took a lot of her in what I do and kind of push that forward into the business and just kind of always channel her at the end of the day. So she is my biggest inspiration for the business, why the business is now named Donna Faye's Bakery. Her name is Donna Faye. The original business name was Dee's Gourmet Butter Cookies. Still her name, Dee's, but I wanted to make it more specific to her and why I continue on with this legacy of her business.
Wow, that is awesome. So your mom was the one who really established this business, and you as a daughter is taking it on. I know what that's a very special time as a little child and watching your mom cook. I remember my grandmother, I'd seen those homemade recipes, like homemade applesauce, and her baked rolls. Oh my goodness, they were so good. It had like this sweet, buttery, kind of salty taste to them, where once they came out of the oven, I'd never add any butter on them, because it was already there. I just reached in and ate them. And so whenever I run across, I call them seasoned seniors. And when I eat some of their food, it reminds me of that. And it takes me back when I was a child. That's a special time, a special connection. I want to ask you another question. How has what you've experienced with your mom and then what you do now, how has that helped you? How is that helping you to really promote what you do even now in the 21st century with the technology and all of the marketing opportunities that are out there and the technology that's used? How does that help you now really promote what you do in your business now?
I'm not quite sure, honestly. I mean, technology wasn't a thing while I was growing up to really propel the business. I mean, I remember her using Vistaprint, which Vistaprint is still a thing, but trying to create a logo for her business or a banner, trying to establish a color that she liked for her brand. And I remember all of those things, but I was actually very much in awe that she was able to take that software, that system, and make a brand. So that was my basis for the business starting out. I was like, oh, she really loves this lime green color, so I'm going to continue that. She really loved gold, so I'm going to keep that going. And I saw, there was like the script with the lettering. So excuse me. So those are certain things that I kept as like a basis. But I kind of I use that as a mold or model for understanding that I don't have to keep the same brand. And me being in a different generation who had the access to technology and, now focusing on, okay, what's next and what other things are out there to make this better than what it was. So kind of just using my skill set, using what I saw her kind of start as established as a basis, and then just kind of grow from that. So I've had many iterations of my logo, many iterations of colors. I've now stepped away from like this lime green color for the business and, really took the idea of me rebranding this and molding it as her business or in honor of her, but something that also represents me at the end of the day, that I like. So the logo that you see on my shirt now is a logo that I spent time creating with a friend of mine, and she actually created it for me. And I went through the whole process of even getting it trademarked. So now this logo and this business is truly mine in honor of my mom.
Awesome logo, and you're so inspiring with your story and how you really connect all of that in what you do on a regular basis. Now, Jamila, how can they get in touch with you? Where can they go to just take a look? Now, you all know about taking a look without tasting the food. It's good, but where can they go? What's your website address where they can go and see and place orders? Where is it that they can go to get that?
So you can go to www.donnafayesbakery at .com. That's the email. Sorry. Let me just start over. www.donnafayesbakery.com, which is the website. And that's DONNAFAYES bakery. And then it's the same thing at gmail.com to shoot me email for much larger orders that you can't place online. But I'm also on Instagram as well as Twitter and Facebook. Same kind of at Donna Faye's Bakery. You can find me there. You can also Google search me. Once you've had the product, you got to leave me a review. My Google reviews get me a lot of the larger client orders around the district. that I wouldn't even imagine have receiving. So Google reviews are powerful. So once you have an opportunity to try them, review me. You can also find me at the Flea at Eastern Market every 2 weeks on Sundays. On select Sundays, I'm not there every Sunday. But my website on that homepage will have my schedule, my market pop-up schedule that you can find, where you can find me.
Wow. That was it. I was going to ask you, where can they actually come? You're downtown at the flea market, downtown. And you said is that every 2 weeks, you said?
Every 2 weeks on Sundays is my typical schedule. But it is select Sundays. So you do have to make sure you check out my schedule to make sure I'm there on that Sunday. Because right now, during the wintertime, I'm not usually bearing the cold. I'm going to wait till it warms up a little bit.
Yeah, it is really cold. It's really cold out there. I wanted to ask you a question. The types of services that you provide for different types of events, what kind of events is it like weddings, different other types of things that you provide your desserts for? Can you list some of those, name some of those?
Yeah, so a lot of my orders are, just kind of home orders, or people who would walk into a bakery and pick up their cookies or cakes for the day. I can also host, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas dessert table. So you can order a large pound cake or trays of cookies for those kinds of events. I've also gone to the extent of, companies will hire me to do like a Christmas hot chocolate bar for their office. So I've provided hot chocolate with the multitude of add-ons and toppings, as well as cookie trays. So it's cookies along with the hot chocolate bar. So haven't gone to the extent of weddings yet. Pound cakes and butter cookies are a direct, specific line of treat that not everybody is really privy to. But I am open to doing so many different things. You just have to reach out to me and contact me, and we can work together and figure out what works best.
Great. I'm looking at your website right now. Those of you all that are watching, I would encourage you to go to the website as you hear the show going. I'm seeing you got on there your famous butter cookies, and they look so good, so tasty. I know in the workplace you put out some of your I think it was your cookie. I can't remember what it was, but I had it, and I was eating. So I love to eat anyway, by the way. And I do have a sweet tooth, so. That's why I'm wondering, for my wife and I, one of your number one fans when it comes to that.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I know that, and I'm telling you all, the food, the desserts are delicious. Jamila, I want to ask you a question as we are coming to a close now, because I know that you're very busy, and this is a very busy woman. She's got a lot of things happening, so I'm just glad that she was able to take out time. But I wanted to ask you a question. For those who are watching, those young ladies who are watching, those young budding entrepreneurs that are watching, what would you say to them at this stage of those girls that are watching and they're looking at you and they're admiring what you've done? What would you say to them to just give them guidance as they pursue their dreams, even in this field of work?
Yeah, so you just keep going. And I know a lot of people say that, but being an entrepreneur is tough, and I won't sugarcoat that, because a lot of times not many of us are fortunate to have the multitude of funds to take us to that next level, to just become successful overnight. It does take time, but you have to keep going. And when you have consistency, you do see that reward over time. And, even mentors have told me, and even therapists have said, write out all the things that you plan or the goals that you have for the year. And at the end of the year, go back to that list and check them off. See what you've done in the business. Because even though it may not feel like you are making progress every year, you are. And when you're able to see that list and check those things off, you will then be able to feel and recognize all those different accomplishments you've made over the year. And so that's something that is resonated with me, and I need to do better at doing it, because even though I'm saying it does not mean that I'm like 100% guru and being so successful, and I do this all the time. But it is worth doing. I mean, I did to the extent of just looking at photos to see my progress. And that, over time, you are taking the next step. You're better than what you were the last year, but ultimately you have to keep going. in order to get to that success.
Well, there you have it, Jamila. That was very powerful. I like what you said. You said keep going, consistency, and the checklist. You know, it's funny that when you said the checklist, there was one gentleman I used to work with when I was a youth counselor, and in his office, he had a checklist. Mm-hmm. He had a checklist, and everything on that checklist, everything that he accomplished, he would check it off, check it off, check it off. And when you said it, I remember that. That's so powerful because it holds you accountable. It holds you accountable, and it keeps you focused. There's one saying as I close today, there's one saying that I have, and it says, when you find out what works, it will activate everything else that will work. You have to find your niche and what it is that you want to do, and you have to pursue that, and you have to have direction. And on this podcast of Language of Life, Jamila, I'm so grateful, and I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And as your food is excellent, your desserts are excellent, A+. I hope, Jamila, that you would come back again and talk with us and allow us to interview you. But those of you all, I want you to go to her website. Go to her website. I'm looking at it right now. I just want to make sure I have it right. Donna Faye's Bakery. That's the Gmail account, donnafayesbakery@gmail.com. And her web address is www.donnafayes.com. That's donnafayes.com. Go there, place your order. And when it gets warm this spring, go downtown to DC and see this Howard graduate in action. In action. For those of you all, we want to thank you for being a part of our Language of Life podcast. Today, we've been very fortunate and just blessed to have Jamila Jenkins be a part of this interview. She gave us a smile, so she'll be back.
Yes.
Back. All right. She said, yes, back. Jamila, you're so inspiring. Thank you so much. I want to wish you the very best. And you've got a friend. My wife and I are going to be calling on you. We've got birthdays and other events that we're doing. And in that process, I'm a promoter. I believe in promoting other people. And this podcast is designed for you. Those of you that are listening, those of you that need a glimpse at this, have a snapshot of what you can be. Here is an example of that with her story and how her mom has been a major primary motivator in her life, and that she's been able to utilize those things to keep her going, to allow her to just move forward and pursue her dreams. You have dreams, and you can accomplish them too. This is Paul Taylor with our guest, Jamila Jenkins. Thank you for participating with this, and we will see you next time.